over here anyway.
Christopher, do you want this to be moved?
Oh,
Where do you want this to be?
Whatever you put it, that's what I'm.
Well, he didn't put it anywhere. He just gave it to me.
I'm gonna ask.
Because I don't know if
that
like,
should be good.
Because my
That's
shirt is like
perfect.
flimsy.
That's
That's
the
why.
only thing. He said you could put it in your pocket, but I don't think it'll hear that
My
well.
pocket is definitely not going to fit in my pocket. What about here?
Yeah, that's
I
smart.
think here is fine.
That looks high tech.
Is this fine?
Yeah.
How you do that?
It has a magnet.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a magnet and a clip.
Okay.
That's lit. That's hers.
Oh, that's yours.
Yours is here.
They're sisters. They're sisters.
Oh, Lord. All right, you
That
didn't tell
was
me
a
the
little
seat
lower, yeah.
is sinking a little bit more.
Exactly.
That's
We got the sinking sea. Hold on,
I
y'all need
know.
to give us that pillow over here.
I need that lumbar support. I need the lumbar support. I'm trying to figure out how to move these pillows. Lord, help me.
Should we, I don't know, should we, Chris, do you want our purses or should we put our purses somewhere else?
I hid some of my stuff in there. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, what about hers?
We can put
Oh,
it
we
in
can put
here.
it in there.
Yeah.
Just for the
I
brand.
know. Y'all don't play about your bags.
No.
I don't really
I
care.
know some Chris
I may need another pillow.
Hold on, I got
Or
a
some
screw there.
lumbar support.
Should I hide the water or no free advertising, right? Yeah, one way. I don't give no free advertising.
Let me go see if they got pillows.
I don't see no pillows.
And there's so many other rooms.
Just to let you know, everybody, we live. So we live on YouTube right now. So.
Oh, really? Is my mic live?
Yeah, your mic live. Oh.
He said, let me check. Let me go ahead and check that. Looking great.
Thank you. I had like an hour to get ready.
Is the mic live? They can hear
Turn
it.
off my phone.
Right.
I've heard of this place, but I've never been here.
Right. I think a few people had events here, so this is actually a good space.
I almost never come to Baltimore.
Me neither.
Are you from where you?
I'm in Upper Marlboro now.
Okay.
So I'm from Virginia.
Are you from Arlington,
I'm from-
Virginia? I'm from
Dumfries,
Arkansas, but
Virginia.
I live in Dumfries now. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
so good for you. I like that for you. When you have, they've been building so much in Woodbridge.
I still can't do Woodbridge.
These
So.
pillows are a little
If I go
flimsy.
shopping and stuff, I go to Alexandria.
Yeah, same. I can't, the Potomac Mill.
Yeah, I can't do Potomac
We
Mill.
need to looking for like an outlet deal or something.
Yeah. If we need something quick, I'm like, all right, we'll go to Woodbridge. But
Hey,
outside
everybody.
of that,
We're going to start the podcast pretty soon. So can everybody make it to the seats and quiet down a little bit so we can start filming. Everybody. Well, hey, we're about to start the podcast pretty soon. Everybody, can you calm down? Lower your voices, everybody. Thank you.
you gotta turn that mic up some, brother.
Thank you very much.
Are we gonna share the mic? I guess so. We're actually okay. We don't need the mic because we have these mics. Right. Oh, I didn't know if that was tied into that or if it's only for the video. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Right, because
they would need it for both.
Right. Because it's gonna give feedback if I bring it too close. Is that mic on? Yeah. Can I check something real fast? Sound check. Y'all can hear me back there?
Y'all can hear?
In the back? Y'all can hear me in the back? Okay, perfect. See a couple thumbs up. Thank you. Oh, that's a big picture.
Welcome everybody to the first ever live Tech Woke podcast. We've been filming. Oh, go ahead, Chick. Go ahead. Give me some hands. Give me some hands for that. Thank you, everybody. I'm not sure if anybody watched the Tech Woke podcast. If you have, raise your hands. Raise your hands. Oh, there's a lot of people. Oh my goodness. And especially here, So those that know.
Very popular.
Yeah. Dang. So those that know, I started this podcast on a camera phone. I did it on my phone. I used to film on 2 cereal boxes, and I used to film this podcast with various people that would let me have a conversation. Some of these people in the room, we got Brandon, we got Naya, we got Darren, Markeisha, we got Osasu, we got Jeffrey, we got Khalif. Everybody has been on the Tech Woke podcast at various stages, so to see all these people in here is amazing to me. So thank you everybody for coming out. So give yourself a round of applause too. So just to give you a brief understanding of who I am, I'm Christopher Agpala. I'm a cybersecurity specialist. I work in the RMF field. I've been working about 5 years in the GovTech space. My goal is to help many people, everybody in all races, get into cybersecurity. That's one of the things that can change your life. Tech can change your entire life, your family life, and generational life. So that's the reason why I do this, because outside the NBA, the NFL, which is pushed on you, I'm about 6'4", I can't shoot though, I don't got no jumper. Bernardo got a jumper, I don't got no jumper. But I can't shoot, I can't do this, but you know what I can do? I can make some numbers doing tech. So that's why I started this. I'm the founder of RMF Academy. Is to help people get hands-on on getting into the RMF space, because when people do training, they don't tell you about the nit and gritty of how to do it. So I started that also. And again, we have a pretty good following on LinkedIn, and also we do the live podcast. So that's what we do on Tech Woke Live. So I'm going to start getting into the next slide. So we're going to introduce Darren. Darren is the founder of C Technology Engineering Consulting. He's a sponsor of this. Give him a round of applause. So Darren, I interviewed him on a podcast a while ago. He has a wealth of knowledge, and he loves helping out the community of all people and all races. He talks to people, gives advice, and he sponsored the event. All this food is because of him and his business. So thank you, Darren, for coming on. Darren, you mind talking a few minutes about your business?
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. Hey, yeah, thanks for this opportunity. Yeah, Seed is a small company. We have been focusing in on supporting small businesses in the defense industrial base, primarily looking at small and micro small, 100 or less employees, with implementing the DoD's cybersecurity maturity model certification. We've also been helping in the risk management framework space, and now moving into doing a bit of GovCon sub work. I have a background coming from the Department of Defense. I was in the Air Force and in the Space Force, my last role being working at the National Reconnaissance Office as the Chief of Cybersecurity for Signals Intelligence. So yeah, Seed is here to help whatever small business you're with to implement whatever you need to be successful and see the American dream come true for you.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate you. And make sure y'all check out, look him up on LinkedIn, pull out your phones, check him out. If you're trying to get him CMMC, get CMMC compliant, that's the person you need to reach out to. Okay. So we got 3 winners. So when I told everybody to come in, I gave everybody a sheet, right? So this sheet is when you got to read 3, I think it's 3 or 4 people, and you actually have to talk to people, get some information. We got 3 winners. We're going to announce them towards the end. I just want to let you know y'all won an Amazon gift cards. I'm going to get those out to you. Some of them we're going to have to email you to later, but we're going to make sure you get your Amazon gift cards to those who have won, okay? Okay, this is the agenda. I know we're running a little late. We're going to push it on through a little faster, but we did the networking, and we're about to do the live podcast recording. We're going to do an audience Q&A, and we're going to do an open networking for the end of the session. So we're going to push it through. Okay, so we have four amazing guests. These people that I look up to in this space, RMF in general, I've interviewed on the podcast, and I've learned so much from each one of them, personal level, and just learning. These people love the space. We're going to start off with Markeisha Snaith. How you doing, Markeisha? Give a round of applause for Markeisha.
Wait, can they hear me on this? Okay, all right.
So,
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to give an introduction. I'm trying to follow after you, so.
Okay. So Markeisha Snaith, she's a cybersecurity architect. She's the CEO of Zyre. Zyre is a career leadership consultant, 10 years experience in risk compliance and AI governance. And also, too, she builds frameworks that elevate people's careers and shift industries. So make sure you check out her QR code right there just to follow her if you got a chance. So make sure you check that out. Okay. Give her a round of applause.
Should I scoot over?
So we have Kanaya Easley. Give a round of applause for her. So Kanaya, she's a cybersecurity engineer with a bachelor's degree and master's in cybersecurity. She has an expertise in information assurance with a strong hands-on experience. She's skilled in risk management, compliance, and security frameworks focused on safeguarding sensitive information and implementing robust measures inside NASA. So give her another round of applause. So again, we have our guy, Darren King Jr., CMMC. Okay, I'm sorry. Give my man Darren a round of applause.
Oh, goodness.
So Darren is a CMMC and RMF compliance expert. He's the CEO of Seed, delivering technological solutions to engineering and consulting services, leading a firm and mission to help businesses win on the cybersecurity front. He has 12 years of career in the U.S. Air Force and Space Force, former chief cybersecurity engineer and compliance for missions at NRO. So make sure y'all give him a round of applause. Make sure you check out his QR code. Okay, so we also have Brandon Moody. Leader, give him a round of applause. I know Brandon's known in Baltimore. In Baltimore, he's done a lot, run club, everything. So Brandon Moody, he's a lead cybersecurity assessor, cybersecurity professional with expertise in the federal information systems. He's a former senior cybersecurity auditor for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, OIG. Currently a Department of Energy, specializing in vulnerability and configuration management, risk governance, and NIST cybersecurity framework. He's currently an adjunct professor of cybersecurity at multiple universities and shares his expertise with the next generation. So give him a round of applause. So everybody, that's all of our guests. So we're gonna go back to the beginning. We're about to just start this podcast. So give us 5 minutes. We're about to set up and we're gonna go straight into it. So thank you, everybody.
Great introduction.
Oh, you said you're gonna sit here. Yeah.
To the left, to
Do you need the back support?
You got space? You want me?
We're good.
Wait, this is for the people that's live, right?
I believe so.
You asked some good questions. So everybody, so we're gonna start this. The people that are fans of the Tech Walk podcast know I'm gonna say one thing. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Tech Walk podcast. I am your host, Chris, and in today's podcast, we're gonna talk to some very, very, very great guests. We got Kanaya Eastley, we got Brandon Moon, we got Darren King, we got Markeisha. They're all GRC and RMF specialists. And we about to get straight into it to understand what are the trends in GRC. GRC is training, RMF is training. You gotta learn more, get more technical. You gotta learn how to test. You gotta know what you gotta do in this field. So we're gonna go straight into it. So for the first question, I'm gonna ask this to Markeisha, and I'm gonna ask this to Naya. When you're getting into the space currently, what are some of the key things you need to focus on to get into this space? So we're gonna go with Markeisha first.
All right, so some of the key things that you need to focus on, I'd say really understanding the frameworks. A lot of people try to jump right into it and looking in at controls, for example, but if you don't understand those actual frameworks that the controls sit within, it'll be a little bit harder for you. So what do I mean when I say framework? So risk management framework as an example, NIST cybersecurity framework as an example. Those are both, I'd say, really the bases. And NIST CSF doesn't really specify controls, but it does specify how you go about actually securing your environment. So again, just always making sure you understand the foundations when you're trying to get into this space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would actually agree with Markeisha and piggyback on understanding the requirements and what are, just even the basics. What is cybersecurity? Also understanding what interests you in cybersecurity. So what do you want to do within cybersecurity? Because there's so many options. And once you decide that, a lot of things I find helpful is maybe utilizing YouTube, utilizing different applications like TryHackMe, GitHub. So once you determine what you want to do in cyber, I would really focus on learning the basics and then also being able to capture hands-on knowledge. So if you can build a lab at home, a lab environment at home, I would strongly suggest to do that because it's really helpful because with cyber, especially with our expertise, we have to kind of learn a little bit of everything. So learning network security, learning software development. I don't want to go on too long, but yeah, yep.
Can we do a little bit more like popcorn style? Okay.
Good.
Okay, so as it aligns to risk management framework, what I would mention to a beginner is to first understand what exactly risk is, right? In my process, essentially for handling and managing risk is first to identify my assets. So what do I own, right? And then identify any of those threats, right, to those assets. And then any vulnerabilities, that is things that could be exploited by a threat actor on the assets that I own. And from there, I want to determine the risk, right, and then determine any countermeasures. So assess the risk and then determine any countermeasures, because risk can be accepted, risk can be transferred, risk can be mitigated, right? So just kind of fundamentally understanding what risk is and the processes involved in risk, I think are some of those kind of preliminary things that we want to keep in mind as we transition in the risk management framework and our understanding of risk in general.
Yep.
If you didn't know, you just got a lesson in CSF, Miss CSF. You got an opener to that
Yeah.
right there as he was describing it.
Okay, so if y'all listening, they talked about this CSF. Make sure you're focusing on the actual basis of cybersecurity, understanding networking, understand the fundamentals, because when you work in RMF space, you're going to be having to talk to engineers, PMO, when I mean PMO, the government officials, you're going to be talking to contractors, and you have to make sure you can articulate that. Even if you talk to any of our guests, you can say the wrong words and they're going to look at you confused. Like, what are you talking about? So you got to make sure you understand these things at a granular level to be able to have these conversations. So with AI, I know that AI is what we keep hearing nowadays. AI is infiltrating the government, it's infiltrating the private sector. What are some applications of AI that can actually speed up the RMF process or GRC compliance process, whatever you ask? So what do y'all think?
You're the one.
All right, I'll touch on this as I work a lot with this now. In terms of applications that can really speed up the RMF process, I feel one of the most popular things that you'll hear is AI is able or will eventually be able to replace people when it comes to the full authorization to operate process, right? So a lot of people right now spend a good amount of time, months I'd say, even trying to put together ATO packages. And so one thing that AI can do is it can actually identify your data, it can identify the users, so your overall authorization boundary, it can select your controls, it can write those implementation statements, it can also validate those implementation statements, assess them, and also write documentation. Documentation is something that is consistently held up, and it takes a lot of time to write along with those implementation statements. So AI could speed up that process, but as I always tell people, you don't really want to have AI replace a lot of the human component of things, because you still want somebody to cross-reference and cross-check, especially with you having to be able to actually build up that AI model. And depending on who is training it, it could have a lot of bias in it.
Yeah.
So you can't get rid of that human component. You can't, fire a 4-person team, right? You need to still have at least 2-3 people on that team, because somebody could be injecting something biased and there's no cross-check there. So again, just going back, I think it could really help with that overall ATO process when it comes to writing documentation primarily.
And can we kill like one idea? Your job isn't going anywhere in the next few years to AI. We're talking about the risk management framework now, and we were saying this right before we started. When we look at NIST Special Publication 800-53, Revision 4 to Revision 5 transition for the government, Revision 5 was out for years before the government finally did a transition to that. NIST Special Publication 800-171, which is for the cybersecurity maturity model that defense industrial-based companies have to implement. Revision 3 is already out. The government is just now making it mandatory for Revision 2 to be put on a contractor's information system. That's been about 2 years now. Saying all of that to say the government is slow, and I think we have a great opportunity still to advance your understanding of how to utilize AI in your role today, and you become a user of it, you become an advancer of it, and you begin to define the parameters of what is the scope in which it will be utilized in this environment, and you become the product owner later. So don't be afraid of that taking away your opportunities, but know that you can be an enabler of it and the owner of it in the future, because they're still going to need people to manage its implementation in the environment. And have you ever has anybody in here like ever tried to use AI to write something for them? Any control implementations or just anything at all? It's pretty garbage at times. And I sat down with someone recently and they were like, we're going to answer some of our 800-171 controls using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or something like that. The stuff it spit out was terrible. I was like, that's not reflective of your environment at all.
Right.
So you have to be able to really understand what's going on and not accept everything that it's putting out right now. But that also makes it makes it your responsibility to become an expert in the information as well, to not fully rely upon it to do your job for you.
Yeah.
So as she was saying, you know, as everyone else has said as well, understanding those frameworks, the lower lying basics of everything is very important. But also understanding what is true in your environment and ensuring that your input can give you a better output.
Right.
And some people say that, you know, prompt engineering is going away. Prompt engineering is not going away. The way that you prompt the AI models gives you the best results so that you can utilize that data. Great starting points overall. Give me a structure of a cybersecurity policy utilizing NIST Special Publication 800-160, 161, or whatever that may be. I think that's security engineering or architecture right there. But you use that one as the basis, and then it can give you a better result. But you have to give it something to reference.
Right.
Good.
I think to kind of double down on what both Markeisha and Deron shared, in its current state, artificial intelligence as it applies to GRC and risk management framework is mostly used as an assistive kind of technology, drafting and developing portions perhaps of an SSP, mapping findings to controls, or perhaps deduplicating POA&M items, et cetera. Future state, I think, will look to, I think there are some things, you know, related to GRC and RMF that are inherently or must be inherently completed by a human element, right? Like accepting risk, right? Would you trust an artificial intelligence engine to accept risk on your behalf? No. That will maintain an inherent human function. But current state mostly being used as an assistive technology. Future state, I think it can significantly, we all want the push button ATO, right? But as Markeisha kind of touched on as well, there's like certain points that must be performed by a human element.
Yeah, so I agree with all my guests right here. With AI, you can use it for documentation, you can use it for testing control, but you still want to have a human aspect, as you say, because we still have to pay attention. We still have to make sure the system is configured to that control, or the control is configured to that system. So when you're getting into RMF, make sure AI is not going to take your job. But I will say, make sure you adapt to use it as a tool. So with that, you know, AI is very popular right now. Everybody wants to use it. Everybody wants to use it to make $1 million or whatever they're trying to do. So there's a risk of using AI. There's data risk, especially in the government space. We're adapting to AI right now. I see y'all seeing AI overlays and things like that. What do you think about the risk of AI? How should we protect ourselves if we're going to use it in the government space and in the GR space in general? Anybody want to take that?
I would say one of the hugest risks is just ensuring that you safeguard not even just classified information, but like even classified, not even just classified information, but even internal information that is beneficial to your company. I think it's really good to watch how you use AI. A lot of times, instead of certain names or, you know, like references, I'll just put XXX and, you know, just kind of utilize it that way, just making sure I'm protecting the data and the information that I'm overseeing. One thing I think about is a lot of these AI companies are also made by or founded by humans. So I feel like even AI is prone to mistakes. And there's a lot of times where I have to tell AI, like, you're wrong. So I think just making sure you safeguard your data, and like we were discussing earlier, there's a lot of government agencies that prohibit using AI on their network. So that's, I think when it comes to classified information, you just have to be very careful and use it for the right way, because you just never know. So that's what I would say.
Understanding that a lot of organizations won't even allow you to use commercial artificial intelligence solutions, especially as it applies to the government, right? They oftentimes develop in-house AI or large language model solutions that can be leveraged instead. But we all know with the use of AI, we run the risk of data leakage. I actually participated some years ago, DEF CON, they had a hacking event, right? So they had a whole bunch of LLMs or large language models, and the challenge was for any of the prospective hackers, right, you go in the room, right, and a ton of laptops are all set up, and your goal was to have the AI perform something incorrectly or to state something that is incorrect, right, that is otherwise known to be fact. Granted, I spent maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I got it to say some things that were close to false or other than fact, but there were some other individuals in the room did some very interesting things, prompt injection like things that caused some ears to kind of go up. So artificial intelligence and its use, you have to be very, very careful with its use. But again, understanding that many organizations, because of that, won't even allow you to use certain commercial AI solutions in-house, right? Especially, as I mentioned, government with the use of classified information, et cetera.
Yeah.
Just to touch on that a little bit more, just kind of going back to that bias that I was talking about, in terms of the individuals who are training your actual models, that can very easily happen to where, let's say you are trying to use, like, mask certain data, right? So you don't want to use real data. Let's say social security numbers, you're masking that and you're changing the numbers. Unfortunately, the AI could end up picking that up as being legitimate. And so now you're training that model to always see that 1122, 33333 is correct, when in fact it's not really correct. That's why that human component is very important to still have as well. That's something that we always talk about too, in my current role, is how can we avoid that? How can we avoid from that happening? Same as, consistently asking the AI, what is the weather today? We don't want the AI to tell you the weather, because that's not what we're meant to use it for at work. But if you consistently keep asking, what's the weather, it's going to eventually tell you what the weather is. And that is an issue. So organizations being able to ensure that they actually have that security portion to that AI implemented is very important. I think that some people just miss that completely.
Great point.
The mic getting low. It's steaming right now. It's just spitting that bar. So, yeah, I hope y'all listening to what they're saying. So I love to hear all that. AI is very, it can be good and it can be bad.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all stop using it as your therapist also, too. If you use AI as a therapy session, raise your hands, Gonna say that.
You just said don't.
They can subpoena that, just so y'all know. They trying to get locked up,
They can.
But, so we have a lot of new trends with the RMF space. There's a lot of things going on. I've interviewed some good people. We have GRC engineering, which is a very popular topic, which is a trending topic that a lot of people should hop on. You got Rev 5, you got the NIST RMF guidelines that came up. We got a lot of things that's, the AI overlays that's coming up. So a lot of things coming up with NIST and AI. What I will say for everybody, make sure y'all pay attention to those trends, and that's why we're having it. What do y'all think about those trends, and how can people maximize it to get into the cybersecurity space and also use it to help get contracts and help build your personal brand? Like, how would you navigate that field now? Anybody want to touch that?
I was about to point right to him because you know when you say contracts.
Yeah. Yeah. I said that.
Sorry.
He first.
So I think that a lot of people don't know that they truly can excel in this space in a way that everyone's afraid because they're like, I don't understand cybersecurity very much. I don't understand X, Y, and Z I don't understand Linux. I don't know how to write anything in Python. I don't understand software development and how we're pushing code through Git repositories or using Helm or all these buzzwords, right? Zero trust, biggest word out there right now. Nobody understands it really. Please don't get me on that soapbox right now because the government's been doing this forever and still hasn't implemented very much at all. But everyone's afraid of that. But I think that your personal brand is probably coming from your background that you're already in. So speaking to someone earlier tonight, right, coming from a healthcare background, it's like, I've never done tech. I'm coming from a healthcare background. I was like, there's a portion of tech that's in healthcare.
Yeah. Huge.
It's like, oh, okay, then that is a portion of tech. And like, you have inside knowledge that no one else understands about how that technology works, how the people work, the business operations. That right there is a fundamental thing about things we have to look at as we're evaluating how is a control effectively implemented, how can we even implement a control in this environment, and is that an acceptable level of risk to the organization and its business practices. So everyone has something inside of them in their background that can enable them to truly be successful in this career field. And I think that the fear of understanding computers is what is stopping a lot of folks. I came in and my family thought I was a genius because I knew how to burn CDs. I tell everybody that story every single time. I knew nothing about computers at all for the most part. Like, LimeWire, FrostWire, I didn't do that. Forgot we got this public, right? But all of those, that's the only thing I really understood at first. But in this environment, we all know everyone else is going to learn. You're a continual learner. And you have to apply yourself in everything that you're doing. If you don't understand it, you better figure it out. And not everybody's going to hold your hand in most environments because 40 to 50% of the people you're going to work with have zero idea what's going on. 30% probably have somewhat of an idea and they're like, okay, we're getting somewhere right now. And the other 20%, they're actually going to know what they want to do, but they don't care to show up to work and they don't want to be there at all anyway. And they probably coming in there dusty with Cheetos on them or something because they're the real nerds in the career field. But there are different types of folks that you're going to run into, and everybody has a different level of knowledge. I think that your intangible skills from your background can really elevate you to excel in this career field. And learn how to use AI, learn how to use AI, learn how to use AI. It will help you so much. If you don't understand it outside of work, don't put no work stuff in your LLM when you're interacting with it, but say, hey, teach me about Python. What the heck does this even mean? How do I use this in this environment possibly? So, yeah, that's all I got.
That was great.
Anyone else want to touch that?
Oh,
Wanna touch
all
on
right.
that?
Revisit the question once more. if you could.
How can you use the current RMF trends to navigate your career better? Or how can you use it to elevate your career? Or where you currently work at to get a better position? Either one of the two.
That one has me thinking.
Well, I'm gonna say,
Thinking on that one for a little bit. I think you did a fantastic
you did
job.
a great
man.
job
You
there.
hit the nail.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
So I would say for me, everybody that follow me on LinkedIn know I talk about RMF a lot. Companies, I can tell you firsthand, I do talk to companies, I do work with companies. They're asking about AI compliance. They're asking about how to configure their systems, how to even understanding the process in general. And this is from me talking to companies. So what y'all need to understand is if something's new, people don't understand how to jump on it. So what you need to do is start learning. Because when you learn, get on it early, same thing happened with AWS and cloud.
Yep.
People that just got the AWS cert back then, and I can Osasu can talk to that, he was making about $100,000 just off of the cert back then. So, or you can get in a good position. Even the Security Plus when it was new, you can put yourself in a good position. So when you're navigating this and you see new trends, make sure you jump on it. if it's for you, you know, and just make sure you're trending on the right.
I think that lends itself to one of the comments that I made earlier before. Deron started to speak. I mentioned be first, right? Be first, right? So as these new technologies, these new, what's the word?
Spotlight.
No. I'm looking for a specific word, but I forgot that word. But nevertheless, you know, as these new technologies and new things are being introduced, right, be first, right? And don't be scared to fail. Heuristics, trial and error method, right? Oftentimes, you know, if you're first, you get the most amount of knowledge, right? You kind of get a leg up on anybody that starts after you. You can apply that knowledge and use that knowledge to further enhance your career. So just kind of doubling down on what was already said, but to sum it all up, be first.
And I'll just add that right now people are so focused on AI that they're absolutely missing quantum.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be so stuck on, well, yes, learn AI, use AI, but now companies are starting to think about quantum. And I'll be honest, my manager always says when we are doing assessments of different vendors that we're going to work with, if we're asking questions about quantum and they're like, oh no, we haven't even implemented, we can't even move forward with them. Because we are so far ahead that by the time they catch up, it's going to be too late. So it's not a vendor that we want to work with. So that just goes to say, start looking at quantum as well right now.
Okay, so if y'all got anything from that, make sure y'all on these trends. Quantum, somebody just brought that up to me earlier today in the conversation. It's like, Chris, you know, quantum has all this risk applied to it. And I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. So that make sure you're hanging around people that's on these trends. Put yourself in a good position to make sure you can get money, support your family, and get into the space and do what you got to do. So to the guests, so what we're going to do is I'm going to let y'all say something. We're going to move on to talking to people in the audience. So you can get your questions answered. So we just give us 5 minutes, and we're just going to readjust. So we can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand right here. If anybody has a question that they want to ask any of the panelists, just come up, and we're just going to ask some questions. So we're going to do that. We'll give us 5 minutes.
Wonderful.
Last time he said 5 minutes, it was like 1 minute.
Right, I was waiting, then he said down. And then
That was a fast
Can you
5.
grab me a water?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can hold it.
That was a fast 5.
Yeah, he
Fast five.
Yeah.
Like the
wiped
movie.
his head off and was back up. I was like, whoa.
Like, man, you got that old Baptist wipe off the forehead, and it's just like, let's go. And I said,
It was like the church. Like,
I know,
Oh, I
right?
don't. We'll take one.
so much.
Can we show this in the? I'll cover it up.
Post-quantum cryptography,
What
that
happened?
stuff is,
Yes.
yeah.
It's another demon itself.
Yep. I started thinking about blockchain as well. I was like, nobody talks about blockchain.
I know.
Nobody talks about
Nobody
blockchain.
talks about
I remember when it
blockchain.
was like super popular
It was popping at a point.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm like,
Probably
you know,
like
only time everybody thinks about it is ChatGPT. And I'm like, Bitcoin. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Cryptos.
there's so many applications.
Even just protecting your crypto, like I got my dad one of those digital, what do you call them?
Like digital
Cold
wallet.
storage.
Like wallets.
Digital wallets.
Wallets.
Because even like protect, like I don't think people understand, like you just kind of got your money sitting in Bitcoin, but how are you protecting it?
Like you have to be able to keep up. You know, like we are just way further now. Like what you just said. Yes, you have your money sitting in crypto, but like now you need a cold wallet.
How do y'all want
People
to?
don't even
How
know
do y'all
about
want
that.
to switch the? Do y'all want to try to
You
come up
have
with
to be
a
willing to learn.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying, I was like, you have to know that you're not going to stop learning in this
Yeah.
career field.
Never.
That's one thing I love about cyber. I say that every day. I'm like, you learn something new every day. 'Cause
Yep.
you really do.
Because there's always something new coming out. It might be something that already exists, but it's on a new piece of technology.
Yeah.
Or a different process.
Or a different process.
Yeah, you can't be lazy trying to get into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you may want to chase the money, but I'm gonna tell you, you gotta work for that money.
That's my thing.
Like we're like lawyers and doctors at this point. Like
Yes.
consistently having to stay on top of our game.
I have to tell people, you know you're breaking the law if you do this, right?
I'm gonna clip this one.
And it's like, I shouldn't have to tell you that at all, but you know you're breaking the law if you do this. Yeah, I
Just
always.
be like the simplest stuff. It's like, oh, I thought they would know that. You know?
Yeah. I have so many conversations, and people don't even know things like, what's a STIG? And if you're like in the government space and you don't know what a STIG is, I'm like, all right, well, I already know this ain't gonna be a good result right here.
That's why I value like being at ISSOs so much, because that's when I learned like how to configure the SIGs.
I guess facing this way. I'm coming right here.
Yeah.
How to test an Ansible on the Linux side. So
Yeah,
it was so cool to like get that hands-on experience, because it's one thing like stick, but when you see all the configurations you have to set up in sticks and having to implement that on the domain controller and then roll it out on other systems, it's just
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like ISSOs always get lost behind ISSOs.
Yeah.
It'll be good for you to talk about that.
Okay.
They are.
That's how I started. I was actually the help, and I was like just doing a lot of ISSO work because like they didn't have a Windows admin, like they were down people, and I was only with the clearance. I'm like, wait, I like this. I like scanning.
Once I get on here, it's big.
Yeah, definitely talk about that too,
Doing
because I
it,
talked to
the
two
panels are
people
hard.
who were interested in doing the engineering side, but it's like when you say ISSI, they think it's the same word as an ISSO, and it's not.
And an ISSI and an ISO are different everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Everywhere. An ISO in some places
you are.
is the
You are.
ISSI.
Yeah.
The ISSI in some places is the ISO.
Yeah.
So on my staff when I sat at the NRO, I had ISOs and I had ISIs, but my ISIs they would only function as advisors on security engineering to our the industry partners we have building stuff for us. So the ISOs would end up doing stuff like data transfers, and they would make sure that the package was being up to date all the time.
Like I said,
and stuff.
you're gonna be
But
on
the
that
ISI
too.
would
You
go
know
in there and be like, hey, you want to build a
But again, you
satellite?
already,
Well,
you know.
this is what we're going to have to do.
Okay, I would
These
like
security
to help
parameters.
I'm lining up everybody. I'm scheduling.
My
next
team
month,
ended
so
up
I'm gonna
like
line you up next month.
they didn't. Some
I'm
people
trying to get everybody in one day. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Like they both do, they do.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah, some of them didn't like me when I came in because they were comfortable with the status quo, which was, oh, we can just say whatever to the ISO.
Yeah.
Because I was the ISM in the NRO.
They thought you were gonna fly.
Yeah, they were like, oh, he ain't gonna know nothing about this. He's not technical. I was like, oh, I was at Air Force Special Operations before this as the cybersecurity manager doing SCI work, ISM work, ISI work on aircrafts and weapons.
Wow.
So, yeah, I know about this. So,
We doing
as soon as
good?
they tried to play me, it was like, Darren.
How you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic, man.
That's OSI, right?
No, I was at AFSOC.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit him with that. Welcome to another.
Aerospace industry with NASA, and my ISO life is way different from like the
said when people-
because most of my equipment's operating
Y'all better-
technology.
Yeah.
So I don't have the
I don't got
day-to-day
time for this,
server
man.
workstation. I'm working with receivers.
I don't got time.
Modems, things like that. So it's like, I think that's another skill in
it's the
itself,
DC
like,
in
trying
me.
to manage to do those, because you have to be downtime. Like, I have like antennas all over the world in Arctic, so like we can't just patch.
Yeah. I had to go along with one of my programs had a 18-month cycle on patching. And I was like,
Accept the risk for that.
we can't do
Hopefully
this.
that risk was communicated up. Was it actually accepted?
Oh, sir, they
Did they know that?
they were just flipping the bird the whole time. But when you're that program that is producing for the government, they're like, well, we can't shut you down. And they knew they were untouchable.
Critical, yeah.
So I was just like,
That's
I don't care how untouchable you think you are.
Hey,
I
everybody, we
won't
about to wrap
sign
it up in the
anything
next
with this
minute.
crap.
So we about to
So I
get
got it
back
down to
into
6
it.
months, luckily.
Thank you, everybody. This is a great podcast. So
Everything's justified, document accepted.
That would be
My
lovely.
assessment, I didn't get no findings because I saw
Okay.
this every
Starting.
I've seen.
So everybody, we're gonna go right back into it so we can get back to the networking portion. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Don't be shy. Come on up. Come on up. Okay. Well, you wanna go? Well, I'll walk along. Okay. I can go right here.
You got it.
Okay.
Good evening.
What's something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first entered the field?
That's a good one.
It's a great question. So you have to build a foundation. I hear this all the time. People try to like skip and jump and hop and not start at, I don't call it the lower level, but you do need to start at the foundational level. I myself, I like to skip ahead, but really understanding things like networks, how computers work, things like that. I think that that's so important, especially when you are coming into not just this field, but if you're going into RMF and GRC, you need to understand that technical component. I think sometimes people think, oh, RMF GRC is not very technical, but you do need to understand the technicals behind it, especially when we're talking about security controls. It's not just, hey, did you implement it, but you now need to assess and figure out how it was implemented. Was it implemented correctly? So that's one thing that I wish I really focused more on, was building a solid foundation. And I've been blessed to like move up the way I have in my career. But if I could go back, I probably would have started at some help desk, in a help desk role, in a SOC analyst role, if I could have.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Markeisha. I was actually blessed because when my managers saw, eventually when I got in this space and my manager saw my degree, he immediately put me in the lab with the systems. So I called myself the help, and I was okay with that. So I was just going around scanning, patching, configuring our, we call them CSET at NASA, but they're still STIGs, configuring all the STIG settings. And I'm just so grateful for that because moving into the ISO role, it really helped me understand the technical aspect behind some of the requirements. Granted, I'm still working on software development and cloud, but I definitely, even where I am today, I like try to like have those software developers mentor me so I can understand static code analysis, how to like make sure the code integrity is up to par and things of that nature. So I just think that Markeisha's like has a good point. I actually worked my way up to an ISSE, which is an information systems security engineer, and from there I was asked to be the ISO. I really didn't even want to move up to be the ISO because I just loved working in the field. So I think, and also you don't have to like work a job to learn technical knowledge. You can, like I said, build a lab at home. It costs about $1,000. You can buy your own server, NIC card, and just build your lab from there. And even he and I were talking, I'm kind of getting into like the penetration side of things. So exploiting my systems at home and doing things that I normally don't do on a day-to-day, I think it's really helpful to understand if I really need to.
Networking.
Yeah.
I hate networking. But if you understand networking, that's going to help you so much, whether you're in a software development environment, a traditional architecture, satellites, whatever it is. Networking. It's going to save you. One thing that I've done lately that's helped me more with networking, because remember I said you got to always learn something new. I'm starting to make my home a smart home, and I'm doing like all of the internal networking for all of that. And one of the things I'm using is Home Assistant. And with that, if you want to customize something, you have to write something in YAML. So now I'm having to go back and learn that language a little bit so that I can apply the configurations. How am I ensuring that if I buy a product that is like a Chinese-made product that you shouldn't be using and connecting to the internet probably. How am I going to prevent that data from leaving my network? Those are things that you can probably look at, and I think that's going to be greatly beneficial because when you're going into a governance space, a cybersecurity space, and you're talking to people about how are they going to ensure the ports, protocols, and services are needed and that data isn't leaving the network, that knowledge from you automating your home can automatically become beneficial. And Red Hat Linux.
Can you say that too? Maybe start with Linux, because so many
Linux.
people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people skip Linux and they go to
And
Windows
that's the great place to
environments.
start.
Linux is like all of the background. All the AI stuff we're talking about built on Linux. So yeah, that's what I think. If I would have stuck with that more, I would have been in a better place earlier.
I probably won't take too much time in answering this question, but for myself, if I had known the number of roles and specializations that exist in the cybersecurity field in general, I think that would have been extremely beneficial to myself. Understanding that there are what I consider programmatic roles and technical roles that exist within cybersecurity programmatically. We have roles like those that are responsible, the ISSOs, the ISS. Well, ISSE is, I would consider a little bit more technical, but ISSOs, ISM, right? Authorizing officials, AODRs, authorizing official designated representatives, CISOs, et cetera. These types of roles where you're responsible for like risk and more of the paperwork of cybersecurity, whereas on the technical side, these are the hands-on keys folk. When I typically speak to technical cybersecurity, I break it down into two different subsections, right? We have offensive and defensive. It's probably the most simple way to put it. Granted, it's really a spectrum because oftentimes a lot of organizations now recognize like purple teams, et cetera. I'm sure you all have heard of those as well. But red team, think of that more of offensive cybersecurity. So if you have interest in being hands-on keys, right, performing penetration tests, et cetera, doing network reconnaissance, doing the stuff you see on the movies, right? The person hacks into an elevator, now the elevator is stopped, or hack into this bank, or the stuff that we see, right, in pop culture. Right, that's the technical offensive side of cybersecurity, whereas we have defensive cybersecurity. We have our SOC analysts, forensic analysts, these individuals that are charged with actively trying to prevent compromise of systems, prevent compromise of networks, et cetera. So understanding that delineation between programmatic cybersecurity and technical cybersecurity, and then those other subsections of programmatic and technical as they exist, I think would have been beneficial to myself. And my hope is that, that explanation is beneficial to you all as well.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Make sure you network too, because everybody been on the stage. I've been through somebody. And being in these environments is how you get into the space.
Yeah.
So we got another one.
Hello. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Jeffrey Scruggs. My question, I'm in the AI field, and I've heard that they now have large language models for like red teaming things. So you can have a large language model that is specifically trained for malicious code. My question is, because essentially if it's trained on malicious code, you don't have to be like a cybersecurity expert. Anybody just has access. You can be like, hey, write a virus, something like that. What I want to know is how good are these red team, LLMs, and how do you see it evolving in the future?
That's a good question.
Anybody want to take that?
Thinking.
Nah.
They're okay.
That's a good one.
But you still got to know something.
Yeah.
A lot of the script kiddies, the ones who are not very well trained, they'll try to get on there. They'll eventually get a product that's going to do some type of act that they desire. But overall, it'll take them much longer than the person who actually knows what they're doing. It's similar to how everything is with using an LLM. If I want to write a policy, I still have to know something about what I'm writing about in order to get an effective product that is sufficient to get a result that benefits me overall. So they're good enough, but they are not a replacement for an individual, and they definitely aren't at the point right now, in most cases, that they completely can just ruin someone's architecture if I just go in there, put in one thing and say, I want this result.
Break stuff,
They'll break something by chance mostly.
And I think to add on that, it will require that requisite knowledge to be able to troubleshoot and debug any code that's generated by an artificial intelligence specific to red teaming. If it produces code that perhaps maybe there's an issue with one line, do you have the capability, do you have the expertise to be able to debug or troubleshoot, to fix said code, and then to launch or to leverage said code and exploiting some vulnerability. So that's the other piece to that.
Yeah. In a way that you won't be found out.
In a way that you won't be found out. Anybody else? Anything to add?
You guys
Y'all touched on it all. It was a nice piggyback.
Anybody have any else questions? Come on, come up. Okay. Come on, don't be shy. We're just people. People.
So Darren actually was alluding to me earlier when he mentioned that I'm coming from the health healthcare field and into, or trying to get into the field of cybersecurity GRC. So a lot of times, like you mentioned, I forgot who it was, but they mentioned that the things that are coming ahead, the trends that are coming out are GRC engineering, the NIST 853 Division 5. I think it was actually good. With those up and coming trends coming out, what are the biggest skill gaps that people, excuse me, what are the biggest skill gaps that people face, and how do they sort of try to address that, like with whatever resources? So a lot of times in the field of healthcare, as a doctor of physical therapy, a lot of times we would go into peer-reviewed papers, look at scholarly sources, and like do the research to be up to date with how we treat our patients. However, like it's actually similar to like government processes with how slow they are accommodating those sort of new resources. So how would you, in a more like either government or private sector space, go out and sort of synthesize that knowledge to be ahead of the curve? If that makes sense. That makes sense.
Anybody want to take that?
So I feel like it's the same for us. There's a lot of articles that you can read, but many of us in cybersecurity, we really focus on podcasts like these, where we're able to learn from people, networking. So coming to these events and networking, but also networking online. So like LinkedIn, for example, joining the LinkedIn groups. I think sometimes people ignore that LinkedIn have really great groups, and those groups have over like 500,000 people in it. Another way to network. Also, and it's not just these podcasts, but listening to podcasts too, like on Apple, as well as Spotify. I think that's a great place too. Opening up a book, that's always wonderful. YouTube University works as well. So it's so many different places where you can find the resources to fill those gaps. It's always an answer to something. And the cool thing about being in cybersecurity, as we were just saying up here earlier during our break, is you do always need to be in the, you need to be willing to learn all the time. This is not one of those fields where you can just really sit back, chill, and get by. Everybody is consistently learning, and they're learning in those same manners that I just recommended. So you two need to be doing the same.
We're learning on our free time.
Have you ever heard of Reddit? If you have not, it is a lifesaver, okay? Because there are several events where I was sitting there and I was like, I have zero idea what Intune, Microsoft Intune does with this. How did they solve this issue? And you type it in Google, and next thing you know, Reddit is like the fifth option. Wikipedia used to be up there, now Reddit is like on everything, it seems, or maybe it's just the algorithm pointing to me. But yeah, Reddit saves so much, and you have so many different people that post on there and respond, and you kind of get that consensus after a while, because there are going to be several different approaches or point of views of how to solve something, and all of them aren't the same. So if you take the time to look at that, I think that's one of them. Vendor documentation is one of the big things that is neglected up front when you get a new tool or you're looking at a new opportunity. Vendor documentation is going to be key to helping you understand how to manipulate something. And she's already said podcasts, like one of them I've listened to, it doesn't give you, step by step of how to do something, but it gives you knowledge of something that you can research later, like Darknet Diaries. I like the podcast. It's pretty interesting because it gives you an understanding of something that is not what you hear about every day. And then once you get into the government space, especially once you start working in classified environments, you really start understanding what's going on in the world, and that's when you can really begin to get some knowledge about what things are happening, how to protect yourself, and I think that'll be a good way to keep you abreast to what's going on in the tech world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just even thinking like internally within your groups, one thing I appreciate Chris for so much is getting the tech community together and having like these WhatsApp group chats and that, you know, and just being able to collaborate with one another within my community, because I know things that I deal with as an ISSO, Chris might deal with as an ISSO also, but there's things that, like I work with a lot of OT equipment and, you know, there's areas where we could help one another. So I think that's really helpful, and just like surround yourself, like, so even for me with my social media, I'm following like the Cybersecurity Hub, Splunk, Sentinel-1, I'm following all of the vendors so that I know when there's a vulnerability out there on a product that we might utilize, I can be on top of it. And as soon as I find out something on Instagram, I'm like going to my team like, hey guys, did you hear about this vulnerability? Let's get it together. So I think just like staying in tune within your community too is a big thing, and I'm really appreciative of Chris for keeping us in this community.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I think, did you have something?
And everybody's heard something new up here, probably OT, and we've talked about STIGs,
acronyms
and
being introduced.
we've talked
I should
about
broke it down.
Ansible
Yeah.
and Terraform, all these different tools and stuff. I think this is the opportunity to say, all right, I don't know about this, let me learn about it. Because that's what's going to keep you ahead of your team, and that's what helped me a lot of times as I sat in meetings and they would come out with a brand new piece of technology, and I was like, I know about that because I heard it somewhere, I looked it up, and now I'm ready to have that conversation. Because when you get in governance, they don't like you most of the time.
Cyber in general.
Anytime cybersecurity comes about, it doesn't make money for the business
You're like
unless
the
it's a
police.
business for cybersecurity. You are there to support the business. And it doesn't help the operations in a government environment, especially if you got to deliver a capability, because cybersecurity is just an additional cost for that program. And it's a slowdown to the program for the most part. So be that person that understands the technology and learns about not only your job, but what they're doing, and you know, it'll help you out so much. And ask questions.
Yep.
Ask the stupid questions.
Yep. Can I second that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like he said, ask questions. I know like when I started my engineering role early on, I would ask so many questions and I would apologize for it. And one time an engineer told me like, never apologize for asking questions. Like that just shows like you want to know, like the smart people are the ones asking the questions. So I feel like, never feel like a question's too dumb. Like if you're curious about it, just learn and try to ask until you understand. So I would definitely second that.
Looks like Khalif has a question.
Okay. Yeah, so I like everything what everybody was saying. You got to build community. You got to help each other, because at the end of the day, other people help each other. You got to build with each other to grow in this space. You just can't do it on your own. You got a question? I'll get you.
Now everyone's gonna have questions.
All right, thank you. I believe y'all definitely been a wealth of knowledge. I appreciate all the answers and everything y'all shared tonight. My question is, somebody like me that's been in the gov contracting space as an ISSO for about 5 years, started off as an engineer, now I'm an ISSO, and I know we all kind of reached like that threshold or that place of complacency. So I guess more so I'm asking for advice as to how do you figure out where to go next?
That's a good one.
Anybody want to take that one?
Naya, what's next for you?
I know.
What's next?
I could try that one.
No, I really think this is a good question,
Yeah.
and I definitely want to pass this to Naya, as she's pretty much has taken that step. But interestingly enough, when I really got into the cybersecurity space specifically, I started as a senior cloud ISSO. And I didn't really stay for a long time because I found out I hated the work, absolutely hated it. I did not like having to do, like put packages together. I didn't like having to do the implementation statements. I mean, looking at like 500, 800 controls and having to write implementation statements for that, insane. And at that time, I was having to oversee over like 20 ATO packages. Like, that's crazy. So I quickly was able to transition out and transition into security architecture. It kind of just landed in my lap. At that time, my manager was looking for somebody that had a unique background, and with my background not focusing too much on the technicals, but more on the compliance, which I always speak about, I've just been able to, really provide my team with so much more structure and substance. So I would say that I think the biggest thing is really figuring out, I think Naya mentioned this earlier on, but figuring out what interests you now. Do you like the work that you've been doing? Do you want to be client facing, or do you want to be somebody who works in the background? Do you like the hands-on work, or are you moving into more strategy? I think this is what people talk about all the time, because like managers move into like the strategy part. So just really understanding what interests you and what you really want to do, and then from there you're able to decide, okay, what do next steps look like? What's interesting to me now? Is AI interesting? We were talking about blockchain. Nobody talks about that really anymore. I love anything that's around, crypto and stuff like that. So what are you passionate about? What do you love? There's something out there for cybersecurity, or there's cybersecurity in everything at the end of the day. So just finding that out can really help you navigate. You're good.
Yeah, she took the words out my mouth. I definitely would agree to that, and I would say I can definitely put myself in your shoes. I feel like we have like almost the same path. Of course, I don't know what you've been through, but it's very similar. And I would just say this is a time to put yourself first. Like, you've put your years into your career, and like she said, do what you feel like comes easy to you, something that you enjoy, something that you may have not been able to like focus on because of the ISO role. But I would also say, please no one kill me, but also put your trust in God. I feel like you've done what you needed to do, and He'll meet you halfway. So I would pray on it. Start maybe journaling things that catch your eye, and when it comes to cyber, things that intrigue you. And I feel like you have it. Like for me, my thing was, okay, I'm an ISO, and I would love to go up and up the chain, but the next thing I want to do is work for myself. I know that cybersecurity is such a passion for me, and it's something that, like we said, we learn on our free time. It's something that I'm really grateful to find. So I just want to focus on how I could be my own business owner and do the thing that I love. So I would just put yourself first.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
I should have said it's going to be challenges, but if you have God there.
No, I agree with you though. Find out your passion. Because you might be an ISO in one environment, and that's all you know. And that's why you feel like you stagnated, because you only know that type of environment. So you can go into space, you can go into healthcare, you can go into defense weapons, you can go into finance, there's so many different areas within tech, and they all do something different within that space. You can even look at a different framework if you wanted to. Or you can go into the technical side and actually do the implementation, as she was already saying. Or you can start consulting.
That's what
And you go into one environment, say hey, tell them they suck, tell them how to fix it, and then you leave. Or you don't tell them they suck. They might be good. So there's different things that you can go into in this space. So find out which part that you like, and talk to somebody. Talk to him. You can reach out to me. I got after his episode with me, I got several people that have texted me now. And so some of the people still, I was sitting over here talking earlier today, and one of the guys was texting me. So I'm always open. Just let me know. I'm open to talking as well.
If I could just add very succinctly, the moment at which your available opportunities don't match your ambition, I think it's probably a good sign that you should probably transition or look elsewhere, right? If the available opportunities in your current role or your current organization, they don't exist, but you have a desire to do other things, or perhaps you hit a ceiling where you're no longer learning in your current role, right? They're not challenging you or giving you additional tasks or responsibilities that encourage you to grow, and you have additional ambitions, then I think that might be the cue to start, perhaps looking elsewhere.
That's real.
So, Chris.
You guys have the real
just
Some good answers right there. I'm going to take one more. Believe you want to take one more? The last one? And then, huh?
It was at Fort Meade.
For what?
Sorry, it's a Maryland
So this
Intel.
one is a question I was thinking about for a very long time. Oh, my name is Khalif, and so I wrote it down. But so currently, a large data center just got approved for the former Landover Mall, 87 acres to build a data center in PG County. And I don't know if you know about like data centers. This is good in the sense of the AI use that it's going to help, but a lot of that data is stored in data centers to kind of run, and it's also take up a lot of electricity. And they built a Landover, so right now there's videos over the internet talking about how it's going to affect the communities, and the waters and streams on the community. And so this question is kind of like two questions into one. It's like, what are the policies around ethical use of AI? Is there any AI regulations around that? And then what safeguards are in place to prevent excessive electricity use and environmental damage, especially like caused by those data centers? That's something I've been, like the personal question I want to know more about. Yeah.
You got ethics.
That's a good one.
That's a good question. Does anybody have anything for that?
Not sure I have an answer to the economy question, which, as we talked about, there's so many different industries that you can go into, and that is one that I rarely ever meet people that are doing the economics and environmental cybersecurity side of things. I think that's cool, but around the ethics of AI in terms of any policies out there, I'm pretty sure policies do exist. I haven't actually came across them, or I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But when it does come to the ethics of AI, yes, that it's very, very big. That's something that so many organizations are now just starting to tap into because they're finding out that they need to. So I do think it is really important to understand exactly where for the organization, what type of, I always say data in general, what type of data you need to be focused on protecting, but also what does your organization feel is important to them in terms of that ethics. I wish I knew the policies around ethics. Do you all know any policies around ethics?
I think there was an EO and NIST has come out with something.
Did they?
Yeah.
I know there's the NIST RMF AI framework, but I just haven't come across it. I have to look it up. Sorry, that was a bunch of nothing.
That was good.
I just
Let me
moved
see if
from
I can look it up.
Ashburn, Virginia, and if anybody knows about Ashburn, Virginia, it's nothing but data centers.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere you go around there, it's like a hub for America is what they say, because a lot of data is flowing through Ashburn, Virginia right now.
AWS, right?
Yeah, like there's a whole lot out there. If you're worried about what the experience is going to be like for a person that resides around it, I had like probably 10 data centers less than a mile from my house. I didn't have a problem, but I don't drink the water out of the faucet either, so please don't leave that as an option.
Bottled water only.
Glass bottle only. Yeah, I don't know about I don't believe it generated many jobs, if that's one of the economic questions you're looking for. It's a fairly slim team that works in a lot of these data centers. So there are some people that I spoke with someone recently, they're the ones that move a lot of the racks for AWS all the time. So there is opportunity there. But as far as the staff that is going in and out of the buildings, typically you look around those facilities, they have a very small parking lot that is like 1 or 2 cars deep. It's not like a Walmart sized parking lot, for example. So there's very slim teams that go out there. So economically, I think there could be some job generation, but you would have to see if someone else if outsiders from your community are actually going to go after those jobs, because they're trying to buy the land up, and the workforce that's there may not be trained in the skills that they need to sustain their operations there. Yeah. Is that getting at the economic question you're looking for? Okay.
All right, because I was looking it up, I was trying to see exactly what types of policies are out there. I mean, outside of, what's been put out by the White House and executive orders and things like that, that does exist. But I guess overall in terms of ethics, I think we can just always go back to what those controls are that need to be in place.
Yep.
Access control,
PE.
PE, yep. Also in terms of like the human component of things, that's always important. So again, just looking at the types of like safeguards to have in place. But I would be interested, now that you mentioned it, I'm actually gonna do some more research around like the environmental aspect to it and the economics. I think that's so important to deep dive into.
Ooh, ethics. Just thought about something with ethics. There was an issue with one of the Google models, I believe. Don't get me quoted on that one. But image identification with images, there were biases with that use case that they had, where they were trained on the data, and Black people were the most commonly identified individuals as being possibly criminals or something like that. So there's an ethical component to what the data is that the AI model is being trained on as well, specifically in that use case that we're talking about there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. So this is going to conclude the podcast. So thank you for all the guests for spending all your time. Give them a hand of applause. They did a great job. Make sure you follow Brandon Moody, Naya, Darren, and Markeisha on LinkedIn. Follow up with them, learn a lot, and everything you learn from this, make sure you act on it. I'm going to end it like this. Thank you, everybody, for watching the Tech Woke podcast. Make sure you check on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Y'all better subscribe. Make sure you like the podcast. Make sure you share the podcast. Make sure you comment. And to everybody, you have to do community. You cannot get into this space alone. People that got in the NBA didn't do it alone. People that got in the NFL didn't do it alone. You have to have a team of people to do. I always done this. You got to work with each other. When I got into cybersecurity, Osasa right there, me and him back to back. Hey, you studying for your Security Plus? And I'm studying my Security Plus every single day. He got a job. He taught me. He's the one that taught me how to even get a job in ISSO. So make sure. Oh yeah, shout out to O. Make sure you give a shout out to O. So remember, everybody, just get 1% better each day. Peace out, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. So just for the last, just to end it, just to remember everybody, if you're trying to get into RMF, just check out the free ebook I got, How to Break into RMF. It's a free book, so check it out. And make sure you just scan it and check it out. It's a free book, so check it out. Also, we want to do an announcement, right? So we have some winners. Everybody that came in got a card to sign up. So you have to meet with people, you have to talk to people, and navigate. So we have some winners for the giveaway. So the first winner we have is Majesty Kedar. Majesty Carter. That's your. Oh, congratulations to you. And I got your gift card right here.
Shopping tonight.
Woo, what you buying?
Okay. Hey, go. You can get some gas money.
Groceries.
Some laundry detergent.
The second winner we have for the gift card is Aisha Davis. Where's Aisha Davis? Oh, shout out to Aisha Davis. So your gift card has been sent to you, so you should get it in the next hour. It's an e-gift card, so it's going to be in the next hour. No problem. Shout out to Aisha.
Technology.
So for the last gift card, we have a Chanel Hibbert. Congratulations, Chanel Hibbert. Networking is key. So,
Right.
Chanel, you're going to get your gift card in the next hour. So, thank you for networking. So anybody that wants to get into RMF, remember, check out RMF Academy. Got 25% off the whole website. I'm always going to advertise myself, so check it out. So shout out to that. So make sure you type in RMF trains, get 25% off. So check that out. So Thank you everybody for coming today. I appreciate you. To see all these people is amazing. Get 50, shout out to y'all. We got 40, 50 people in here. This is amazing. People that know me in the beginning, we just did this on an iPhone. We got all these people in a room. Make sure you check out rmfacademy.io. Make sure you check out Tech Woke on YouTube. Make sure you check out me on Chris Rock Paulo on LinkedIn. Make sure I drop a lot of gems, especially in RMF. So we got one more.
He posts faithfully. I can't keep.
Okay, so we're gonna close it out. We're gonna let everybody network. But before we network, I forgot to do this. We gotta give God the glory. You always gotta give God the glory. So before we end it, we're just gonna pray it out. Anybody that wants to pray it out for me, just close your eyes, bow your heads, and we're gonna pray it out.
You laughing?
We're gonna pray it out. Okay. And shout out to United Baptist, to anybody that goes to United Baptist in New Carrollton. Thank you everybody for coming to this day. Thank you God for allowing all of us to network, learn different things, build a network of people that you can go to get into the cybersecurity space. Thank you God for bringing everybody together, including the panelists. And thank you God for working through everybody, because everything comes through you, God. Panelists is here because of you, God. It came from you. I'm here because of you, God. Everybody's in the position they are for you, God. So we just want to give you the glory. Thank you for everything you do, God. And I pray that everybody makes the connections they want to make, connect, grow, build a future with each other. So, and also, God, I want to pray for everybody to make it safely home after they network and get home. It's a Friday night, so make sure everybody get home. So thank you, God, for everything you do. In Jesus' name, amen.